Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Tomas O'Farrell with us today. He's co-founder at Workana. He's helping your business scale with remote talent, part of a scaling startup since 2002 and member of YPO in Miami. I'm in Oaxaca, Mexico. So, Tom, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to.
Hey, Charles, how's it going? Thanks for having me in the podcast. So, I'm from Argentina. I'm what you would call a reluctant entrepreneur. I had this idea of becoming a corporate or a banker, but being from Argentina, I finished university in one of those moments when everything went to hell in Argentina. So, a friend came to the rescue with this idea of starting an internet company. We said, hey, why not? We did it. And that's how I got started in the internet world. And I loved it from day one. So 20 plus years later, here I am.
Why reluctant? Did you randomly stumble into it? Do you really think that, yeah, it came to you rather than you searching for it?
Exactly. It's not like some people, since they're 5 years old, they have this idea or they do the lemonade stand and they do all that. That wasn't me. It was more of sort of a sequence of accidents, of lucky events. And now I couldn't think of anything else. So
Right, and Buenos Aires, in Argentina, I've lived there for quite some time. I guess governments are pretty unstable there. The economy, right? The Argentinian pesos. Lots of blockchain companies coming from there. How has that shaped you as an entrepreneur and a person?
which is one of these, we always say it's these amazing things of living in Argentina. You develop this resilience to everything, but the system is always pushing against you. But if you grab that resilience that you learn and you take it into a place with a bigger market and a better system, that's when people, particularly entrepreneurs, can do miracles. And you're seeing that a lot in crypto, and you're seeing it also in other tech companies.
And your first company, I think, was a social media. So you raised 6.4 million. Did you try to create Facebook for LATAM or something like that? How did that one go?
Exactly like that. So this was very early. So it started as an e-commerce company, actually selling prepaid phone cards. This was way before Skype, WhatsApp, and all those things. When actually calling countries internationally was this big hassle. So we started that with zero investment. We were bootstrapped before the term existed, but mainly because this was 2002. So nobody was investing any money, particularly in Argentina. The bubble had just burst. So we started that with zero money. We learned that we were very good at managing an online funnel and making it grow. And then we went into social media. And yeah, it was Facebook for Latin America before Facebook was big and global. And it grew tremendously. And it was also an amazing ride.
And you started FN, what's it called, FN Box before that. And I guess Sonico emerged out of this, right? Was it like your main victory? What did you get out of FN Box as well?
Yeah, FM Box was sort of like the holding company. Out of that, we had the e-commerce company and then the social media. We also had some, this was when AdSense started appearing. So we had some high traffic sites for Latin America, greeting cards, and that sort of thing, birthdays. And out of that, yeah, Sonico was by far the biggest product that we had there.
And how did that one finish, the Sonico? Did you get an exit or was it a dramatic
No,
failure?
not amazing. We did get an exit, but it wasn't a big one. We sold to Match, a dating company, more of as a dating site, and they pulled it into one of their products. So at a moment, we had way higher. It's still okay, but we had way higher expectations for it. The other lesson is competing against Facebook is super hard.
Right. And what lessons did you got from there? Because then you launched Workana, which is I would describe it as nearshoring, right? Like a nearshore sort of BPO, but for tech talent, which is like the agency model, so way less risky, right? Like what lessons did you got from Sonico that you took to
Oh,
Workana?
many. One of the things was retention was key in a social network, and we're too focused on user acquisition and growing the network, and not so much on retention, making people show up every single day and use it a bit more every single day. So that's a lesson we took to Workana. It doesn't matter how many users you have. What really moves the needle is the people that are there and they sort of live out of your platform. The ones that if your platform disappeared, they will be super, super annoyed, angry, and they come to your office with pitchforks. That was one. The other was this was in the Web 2.0 era. It was very trendy, very similar to AI right now. So it was very popular, and we started getting all these inbound investor interests. We ended up raising way more money than we needed. So the effect that raising too much money can have in a company, it really changed our company culture. So that's also another thing that I've tried not to do in Workana and be a bit more frugal and lean.
So with my agencies, I was mostly hiring people from abroad as well, like India. Since I was dealing with the French countries, Morocco and Tunisia, I would hire some folks there. By the end of the phase in which I was still hiring employees, I would hire from LATAM because of the same time zone. It's also like a bit higher quality standards, understands better the North American culture, sort of. But nowadays, it seems that there's a bunch of these LATAM talent agencies, plus AI seems to be chopping like all the junior stuff. Do you have a positive forecast on Workana and actually the need for companies to hire from LATAM, or do you see that diminishing over the next couple of decades?
Yeah, that's so. I think there's two questions there. Number one is we're seeing the same thing, which is pretty much what we talked in the beginning. I think this resilience and school that Latin American talent has, the more that we delve into LATAM talent, we realize the amazing quality that Latin America has talent-wise. As you mentioned, very similar times into the US, work culture, work ethic, even accent and use of English. So it's something that LATAM talent, my prediction is that it'll become even more relevant with time. This is something that COVID really accelerated. We're not even halfway there where LATAM talent will end up being. So that will only continue to grow. And the more that grows, Workana as a leader of remote LATAM talent should also grow. What will end up happening with AI, it's also interesting. The truth is nobody knows. My prediction is two things will happen. Number one, it'll be very similar to like when Excel appeared for accountants. Before that, there used to be many people that used to be in bookkeeping, etc. All those jobs disappeared. But actually, you have more people in finance now because you've got different roles that were created on FP&A and etc. So I think something similar will happen with engineering and AI. So some of the types of work that people were doing will disappear, but overall, it'll increase the talent pool and the need for AI talent. But that will not happen automatically, and there will be some pain along the way.
And isn't the trend right now 10x developers, like these developers using a bunch of tools, having a bunch of entrepreneurial skills, I would guess, and getting the output of 10 of their peers all at once? Isn't that what most companies would be getting into rather than hiring like 10 junior social devs?
And that is what I say, that is the thing that will probably happen. And we're seeing already at Workana. So this 10x engineer, the people that is able, the ones that are able to leverage all these different tools, they can actually do this 10x level of output. So the question would be, okay, why would a company keep on hiring the 1x level of engineers? So this could be like a two-tier system where the ones that are able to leverage and reach that, there's infinite demand for that. And the ones that don't, there's almost zero demand.
Interesting. And your developers nowadays, how much do they leverage AI technologies, for example, vibe coding?
A lot. So internally, within Workana, we use all the AI tools a lot, and we're already seeing that. And the other thing that we're doing is helping our talent base, which is huge. Okay, how do we upskill them and give them all the tools, but not only the tools, but really the domain and the knowledge and the feeling comfortable with it and the using them every day to make sure that they increase their output tremendously.
And how do you get your clients? Like, the product, let's say that it's somewhat similar to a bunch of other agencies. Sometimes I see companies really distinguishing themselves with GTM. How do you actually go after your clients?
We do a bunch of different things. One of the advantages of having been in the remote talent game for so long is we already have a very powerful brand. So luckily, we have a very strong inbound flow, which doesn't happen with many companies. And having done this for a while, we also have this referral wheel that keeps on coming. So new clients come in, they have a great experience, mainly with the talent that they hire from us in Latin America, and that brings on new and different clients. So this wheel, once it starts working, is super, super powerful.
Right. What are your list of criteria for very efficient remote tech workers that you hire?
That is something that, even though we've been at this for a while, it's always a never ending thing of getting it right. And we've tried many, many things. Most of those do not work. I'd say there's two or three things that we've learned. Number one is you have to become very, very good at async communication. So when you work in an office, you're used to talking like this in real time. When you're remote, async becomes sort of the norm, and you have to be very good at expressing yourself that way. The other thing we do is, even though we're remote, we do meet up in person every now and then, because we've realized that meeting up in person creates the trust, and it's also easier to challenge ideas and get everybody aligned and on the same page. So what we do is we design and sort of decide together where we'll be focusing for the next sprint, and then it gives the company sort of the base so that it can keep on executing remotely. But those two things, I think, are key.
Right. You also have brought, I think, your 14 years old son to work not so long ago. Do you fear for his future when it comes to AI and everything that's happening?
100%, yes. So one thing that happens is, one thing that I love about freelancers, for example, is that you always have, there's many things that when you work in a corporate job, sort of the company handles it, and when you work in a smaller company, you have to do, like finding clients, negotiating with clients, figuring out project management. When demands spike, turning around and hiring somebody else to manage fulfillment. If you with the agencies, I'm sure you've seen all this thing and you've learned how to deal with it. When you do a corporate job, sometimes you get super specialized in one thing and you're very good at that one thing, but you don't know how to do all the other things. And that, I think, is very, very risky. What I think is key for the future, for my son and for everybody that is growing up in this new AI age, is number one, this constant learning. Keep on learning all the time, and self-learning. You don't have to go, even though you can go to an Ivy League, etc. You have to be, there's all YouTube stuff that you can learn on your own. And the other thing is being very, very adaptable, because I think what'll end up happening is we'll become more and more like this directors of orchestra, where we're managing all these different AI agents that do most of the work for us, but they still need this conductor managing that. So I think that's the role where I hope my son evolves to.
Right. And what do you think? What are your thoughts about diversity? Right, because we've seen DI go down the drain, sort of a year ago. What is your thought on diversity vs end results and performance in the business capitalistic context?
What we focus a lot in Workana is, which is something with the DEI, maybe didn't approach it as much, which is all this difference of maybe mindset and approaching problems in a different way. And I think that is where discussions end up being richer, and the whole decisions that the team reaches are more balanced and more nuanced. So we focus a lot on that, on having diversity, on attitudes, on mindset and approach, more than what the DEI used to focus on.
Right. And what regions of LATAM are the most promising right now, or what regions are just not keeping up as per like who you are hiring your employees from?
Well, one thing that it's amazing is when you go deep into all the different regions in Latin America, there's all these different particularities of different regions. For example, for tech, Colombia and Argentina are doing amazingly, and they not only have amazing level of talent, but they've also created like this employer brand where we get more and more clients from the US that they come and they specifically request either Colombia or Argentina. What you're seeing is also on, for example, on sales and finance, which are other of the roles that are coming. Then Central America is also developing amazing talent and also raising the bar. So what I like about all this is that you got different nations competing against each other, both on how easy it is to do business or to hire people from that region, and how much they're investing in educating and upskilling the level of talent for the population. And the more the countries sort of lean into this, the better prepared they will be for the future. And there's no monopoly. So if some country chooses to go against the wave and say, hey, I don't like remote, then what will happen is you'll see less and less that people from the country end up being hired.
Right. And where do you see Mexico on that scene?
Mexico is a bit more reluctant and making it a bit harder with a few things, which is a shame because it's an amazing country. The level of talent is also very good. They're right there with the US. So my opinion is they should be leaning into it, making it more and more. And I think in the midterm, that is the strategy that will end up working.
Right. And where do you see the startup scene, LATAM and the startup scene nowadays? What are the ingredients generally that LATAM would need to compete at a higher level nowadays?
So I've always said that coming from Argentina, there's a few things that we do very, very well. So we're good at soccer, we're good at meat, we're good at wine, but I think we're also good at entrepreneurship and tech companies. And I think that is also true in Latin America. And but what I see has happened in the past is the system, it was hard. There's all this distraction where different things happen that make it easy to focus on the things that you really need to do to create a scalable business. I see that improving, and the success of other companies like the Mercado Libres and the Nubanks of this world, they're also inspiring new waves of entrepreneurs to come in. So I'm very, very bullish about the state of LATAM. And you mentioned crypto. There's all these niches where we've been able to be top of the line and world class. So I do hope that this is just a starting line and that we keep on getting better and better, like the new generations dethroning the older ones and improving and keep on raising the bar.
Right. What do you think about Upwork and the stock trajectory? Just like a bunch of tech companies, I feel they've gone up during the pandemic and then they sort of went normal or go down, right? Like what happened there?
I think with many of these tech companies that got a huge spike during COVID, it was at some point there was all this irrational expectations of what it will be. The multiples were insane. Someone to a norm. And what happened with this new market is companies that were losing money and keep on burning money, investors are going away from it. So I think that's a bit what happened to these companies. Still amazing companies. They're still growing. So I think it's a matter of getting their house in order and eventually they'll go back to a norm.
Right. And how are you building your company different? Do you want to build it to an IPO one day?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. We sort of go back and forth with that. What we're doing, and we have done for the last few years already, is we decided to go profitable and be profitable and keep on growing profitably. That is something that we started as a VC-backed company, so that is a new thing for us. But I realized it's amazing because there's all this lift that is waiting, of this lift that is this weight that is lifted. And then you realize that we're now masters of our own fate, and we can sort of choose which way we need to go. So that is something that I didn't realize it would be so powerful as it is. And the second thing is it allows you to go even deeper into saying, okay, what is what I want to do? Not what I need to do to get to the next round, which is something like founders have all these benchmarks of what they need to do, but where do I want to take it and have this freedom of option? Is something that I found very powerful. Still, both paths I think are okay, and you just have to choose the one that is best for you. But we're really liking this profitable phase.
What does the day in your life look like?
It's a mix, and I struggle with this, and I don't know if it's the same with you, where I have weeks where I say, hey, this is going very well, and then all of a sudden it goes off the cliff, and I have to go back in it. But I say a mix of starting off with some sport, ideally outside. That is the ideal start of my day. And then in the mornings, I like more deeper work, less interruptions, and meetings in the afternoon. If I keep that and I'm able to be back home and do something with my family, I'd say that's the perfect week.
Yeah, sometimes there's just days that you don't have control. You need to accept it, right? You don't need to fight against it. You just need to go through it. Yeah, maybe like once every 2 weeks or something like that. What are your top goals for this year? What do you want to achieve that you would come to the finish line at the 31st of December and you'd be like, yeah, had a good year this year.
Oh, I'd say number one is our growth is accelerating. So we're riding this positive wave. So make sure that we go deep into that. And whenever things are going well, there's always again, from Argentina, I get this paranoid feeling of, okay, people will relax and will sort of take it easier. So I want to do the opposite and take advantage of the positive wave as much as possible. We're investing a lot into improving our matching algorithm, making sure that we're able to match what client is looking for with the best possible talent for them. The quicker we do that as possible. And also, I'd say the last one is to keep on building the team, because again, most tech companies, we don't have the Toyota factory or the Coca-Cola formula. It's just people working together to create something. So making sure that we're able to bring in the most highly quality people and sort of put them together the best possible way, and then get out of the way and let them do their thing is also a big thing.
Where can people find out more about you, Thomas?
They can find me here in LinkedIn. They can find me in Twitter. And they can also go to workana.com to check out a bit of what we're doing.
So I was Charles and Thomas for another